You could. If, in fact, if you do things that actually put you in that environment again, certainly what I've done as a professional speaker is when I've gone to a big event where there's thousands of people and I'm in the audience, I can actually turn around and anchor that positive feeling as a speaker, and you'll notice I have no issues getting up in front of hundreds of people, but I'm anchored so much on seeing crowds, so you can do the exact same thing. The best thing you could do is go to a rugby game when there's the hypes up with the crowd and everything, because he'll feel even more. He'll probably have goosebumps on him right now thinking about that on the back. Do you feeling anything? Yeah, right. Because this is a powerful stuff. Once he's actually anchored, he's actually going to start experiencing everything we're starting to talk. So if he went into the rugby grounds and actually experienced that, he would actually then lock himself back to that moment, and he would feel that, you know, that high point. See, when you win a world championship or something like that, there's not a lot that beats that. And that's why a lot of rock stars end up turning to drugs, because they've gone through this high. They're standing in front of thousands of people. Unbelievable chemicals are being released in your brain, like dopamine, etc. You're on an absolute high. And what happens? You go off stage, and if you go home, it's a very different environment. So they actually need something to actually get them up, because once they've got to that high, the question is what's above that? So that's why a lot of them actually end up taking up drugs or doing something to try and find another high. Because interestingly, the brain also gets used to states. So if I'm a rock star every day, after a period of time, that high is not like it was back then. And that's why when the person takes drugs, what happens? After a period of time, the high isn't at the same level. So what do? Increase the other line. They do a shift. It's the same as exercise. The latest research around exercise says if you want to get muscles and cut up the body, it's not about doing the same exercise, it's about fooling the body and doing different things, doing a different routine, and therefore causing the body to react and therefore grow. Excellent. So rugby stadium would be good for you, my friend. Awesome. So the techniques then was set up the kinesthetic anchor. Get them to agree on where they want to put the anchor. Then what we want you to do is record the visual, auditory and kinesthetic, the VAK, of them in that event. So what are they seeing, what are they hearing, what are they feeling? Then what you do is get them into that emotional state and you actually trigger that anchor. And then what you're doing is connecting from that state to that kinesthetic anchor in your body. Any questions on confidence anchoring, as it's called? Excellent. Okay, we're going to be jumping through lots of tonight. But here's an interesting thing. You know, when I actually ask you, oh, what happened when you were 10 years old? You actually go over and go into the 10-year-old filing cabinet and have a look. And I say, what happened when you're 20 years old? And you go over and find this 20-year filing cabinet. So you know memories based on dates. You actually, what we call spatially, position them in your brain somewhere so you know that if I need the 10-year-old ones, I can go over here. Or if the 20-year-old ones, I can go over here, etc. We call this spatially, and it's effectively spatially positioning or anchoring, because you're actually effectively putting them somewhere. Now in timeline therapy, what we can do is we're trying to work out what your timeline is, so we can work out where your past is and where your future is. Because if I asked you where your past is, without hypnotising you, but actually asking you to note where your past is, you'll actually get a feeling, intuition of where it is. It could be behind you, could be in front of you, could be up, could be down, could be anywhere around your body. And I could actually ask where the future is even, and then you could actually tell me that. So what we're going to do, just for curiosity's sake, what I want you to do is close your eyes, and we want your subconscious to make you consciously aware of where your past is. Where your past is, the thing that actually comes out, the main thing and feeling you get. And once you know where your past is, I want you to point to it. So asking the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, to make you consciously aware of where your past is. Where's the past feel for you? And when you've got it, can you just point to it for me, please? Okay, excellent. Now, if I said, keeping your eyes closed, if that's where the past is, where is 10 years old? Where's 10 years old? Can you point to 10 years old for me? Okay, excellent. Where's 20 years old? Where's 20 years old positioned? Great. Where's 30 years old? Or if you're younger than 30, where's the future? Excellent. And now tell me, where is the future? Where's the future feel for you? Where is it located? Because it's there. Excellent. Now draw a line across them and tell me, or tell yourself, is it actually going through your body or is it going around your body? So just note, If you drew the past and future with all those things, is it actually going physically through your body or is it going around your body? You should see that line. And when you're ready, just come back in the room. Who's got it going through their body? Show of hands. Okay, who's going around the body so the line doesn't go through your body? This tells us a couple of things. See, if you're going through the body, we actually call you an in-time person. These people tend to live in the moment. So if you put up your hand saying it's going through the body, often you're late for things because you're living in the moment all the time. And you necessarily don't like goal planning. So when you came to that goal planning session, you went, yeah, I'm not going to do this when I get home. Because you actually prefer living in the moment. You're very focused on the moment. Is that true for those people that put up their hand? Absolutely. The people that had the line going around their body, these are the people that actually love doing goals because they are so forward focused that they often don't enjoy what's happening in the moment because they're actually planning the future. We call these through time people, and they actually tend to be on time because time is important to them. These people tend to be the ones that live in goals. And what about the people that are through time? Does that make sense to you? Yep, connecting to that quite well. In timeline therapy, why I'm showing you this, is you actually have a timeline. And when we hypnotise people or put them into a trance, we can actually ask them to go back on their timeline and look at where the issue is. So for example, someone might come and say, I've got this particular pain and I can't get rid of it, so we've got to look at, and I'm going to talk about it in a moment, pain, because a pain could actually be created physically originally, but then reproduced in the head afterwards. But pretend right now that the experience is it's actually real pain in the body somewhere. And the person says, you know what, I don't really remember what happened. What we do is we hypnotise you, we trance you and say to the subconscious, because who knows? You do. Where is it? In the subconscious. Again, with all those fears, doubts, limiting beliefs. And we can say to the subconscious, when did this occur? And what do you think happens? Most amazing thing to see. This person goes back their timeline. Hopefully your timeline wasn't that bad. But they go back in their timeline and they actually explain the exact event. Because do you lose it? No. See, consciously you might have difficulty recalling memory, but the subconscious knows everything. It's going to go and tell us exactly what the event was, and therefore a lot of hypnotists, they don't even have to ask you about what's happening. They can just trance you and talk to the subconscious and say, take us back and tell us what's happening back there. But as you can see, just by knowing your timeline, whether it's going through or around your body, we can actually tell a lot about you and how you actually think. Because this actually indicates your sensitivity to time. And that's why, depending on what you are, sometimes that filing cabinet, what they do is they will say, go and look at 10. Well, you actually go over here and look at all the experiences of 10. And if it was, say, for example, if you talked about a car, it actually will say, well, car accident. What you might do, you might have the filing cabinet that actually says, oh, what year? So you've got to go, well, when I was 20, when I was 30. Or you might have a cabinet that actually says car accidents. So you'll go there and you'll go through them all. And this actually starts explaining how your brain is wired to actually tap back into memory, etc. But the good thing to know is your subconscious knows it all, and if in doubt, we trance you and actually ask the subconscious what it's all about. Now, people said, why don't you go in and trance someone and put them over 2 chairs tonight? But I'm not going to do that because I probably won't find a volunteer. But it's all possible, and I can show you videos and everything where we do that, because the subconscious, what happens with that, you've probably seen pictures of it where people actually put them across 2 chairs. What actually happens there is once we've got your subconscious, you're susceptible to any commands that you will allow the hypnotist to actually work with you on. And what happens, they will say, you're stiff as a board, you're stiff as a board, you're like a steel pole. And what happens? You become a steel pole, we lift you up, put you on 2 chairs, and you're actually a steel pole because you've told yourself, be a steel pole. But if I tried doing that in a conscious state and you didn't believe it could be possible, you'll never be a steel pole. And that's why there's many examples.